As the darkness of winter's morning lifts and the cobbled streets of York shimmer with the faint glow of Christmas lights, an unsettling darkness lurks just beyond the festive cheer. As we pass the infamous hauntings of this ancient city, one stands above the rest as the Gothic majesty of haunted York Minster commands the eye as it emerges above the rooftops.
Reputedly the most haunted building in arguably the most haunted city in England, join me as we uncover the ghostly tales of this iconic institution.
The city of York has an extraordinary history, with the first evidence of a settlement here dating back to the Mesolithic period. From Roman conquest, Anglo-Saxon settlement, to Viking invasion and medieval restructure, the city's cultural evolution is captured in astounding detail today. York Minster, the quintessence of storytelling through architecture, and testament to medieval human achievement.
Today, York Minster is considered one of, if not the largest Gothic cathedral in Northern Europe. The roots of the building can be traced all the way back to the year 627, when the first wooden church was constructed for the baptism of Edwin, King of Northumbria.
Various Saxon and Norman churches have existed since, the foundations of which are uncovered as you descend into the crypt, though the Gothic cathedral we see today began construction in 1220, taking 250 years to complete. With such an extensive and tumultuous history, it's no wonder that ghostly sightings of monks and figures in period clothing are commonly reported within and around the cathedral, though it's a handful of enduring tales that grant York Minster its haunted prestige amongst these storied streets.
There are variations on this tale and the identities of those involved. The most commonly told is as follows.
A dedicated senior clergyman at the young age of 26, Dean Gale had already cemented his place as a staple amongst the usual congregation, almost considered part of the furniture here at the Minster. So when he passed suddenly in 1702, the loss was sorely felt amongst churchgoers. Though it seems that his prominent presence in the cathedral would not be extinguished entirely.
A few weeks following, a service was held for the late Gale, attended by those whose lives he'd touched.
Though as the vicar glanced up from the pulpit at the rows of grieving faces, one, oh so familiar, took the breath right from him. The figure of Dean Gale, in his usual place he would peacefully sit and listen to service. There was a draught washed over the congregation, turning pages and ruffling clothes. Gale was still, not a hair out of place, as if somewhere else entirely.
It's said that the apparition of Dean Gale can still be witnessed to this day, found sitting amongst the pews as you'd so often find him in life.
Perhaps the most infamous ghost story here within the Minster comes from the 1820s. As the legend goes, a tour group were visiting the cathedral, amongst them a gentleman and his two daughters. As she took in the awe-inspiring beauty of the building, the eldest of the two daughters became distanced from the rest of the group. As she endeavoured to rejoin her father, a tall figure approached the young lady. He was impeccably dressed in a naval uniform, his formal presence striking against the cold stone of the cathedral. For what possible business would a naval officer have in York? As the man drew closer, under the soft glow of the candlelit cathedral, his features came into view. And with that, the woman's face turned a pale white, her curiosity replaced with panic and dread. Though before being able to process what she was witnessing, the man approached her side, leant down, and whispered in her ear.
Her distress wasn't simply in the uncanny appearance of the man, for in her youth, her and her brother had forged a pact.
They had vowed whoever would pass first would return to the other, proving once and for all that there was life beyond this world. As her legs began to fail beneath her, the woman resigned to a pew to gather her thoughts. Her brother was away on active duty. His apparition could mean only one thing. If the story is to be believed, that chilling encounter, her brother's whispered message, was the proof that she'd been promised. There is a future state. In T.M. Jarvis's 1823 book, Accredited Ghost Stories, it's mentioned that in the original account the individuals were named, though at the request of the party, names were redacted by the publisher in an effort to avoid further distress to the family, leaving us with this curious tale.
As night closes in, we have one final tale to tell. That of the ghostly barking of the stonemason's dog.
As the story goes, the hound was companion to a stonemason working on the building. One night, the man's fellow workers were tired of him and his dog. Unbeknownst to him, the workers captured his dog and placed it in the wall, sealing it shut, leaving the poor canine to bark and whine until it could no longer. It's said that on occasion in the depths of night, if you listen carefully, the desperate howl of the dog can be heard echoing through the empty aisles of the vast cathedral.
Thank you for joining me on this ghostly journey through the haunted halls of York Minster. From ghostly clergymen to whispered messages from beyond the grave.
Could it be that this cathedral holds more than just history, but the past itself?